Hey eBay sellers, it's Suzanne A. Wells. Welcome back for another episode. And today's video is about an opposite of a haul. Now, what I do here is I have a Pinterest board called Yep, I Sold This on eBay, and I have been keeping this board since Pinterest came out, I think 2013 maybe. And what I do here is I take screenshots of some of my eBay sales and post them here with some notes. I started doing this for my clients and other people who would say, "What can you sell on eBay?" And once you've been doing this for a while and you sell in all different categories, pretty much the answer is anything. So I just wanted to give real examples of things I've sold. This is kind of like the Money Making Monday, but this is actually my personal sales from over the years. And everything has a story with it, it seems. So I'm going to do some commentary on some of these items to help you learn what to sell. And that's the purpose of this, is educating you on what you can sell that you may not even know has value. So, and plus this is just kind of fun to go through these. So, if you're listening on a podcast on Stitcher or iTunes, you can find my Pinterest board at Yep, I sold this on eBay under Suzanne A. Wells on Pinterest, and I will do my best to describe what we're looking at here if you are listening and aren't either on a podcast or you're just not in a position to look at the screen. So, the first item I want to talk about is this Disney Store Mrs. Potts Beauty and the Beast adult costume. And I sold this for $74.97. This was back in October of 2014. And this is one of my more memorable sales. I actually had this on my blog over at ebaysellingcoach.blogspot.com, and I told the story of how this came about. But the interesting thing here is back then, 2014, I was using the Facebook yard sale groups for my inventory. Just scrolling through, looking for things that people might not know have value that I could flip on eBay. So this item came up, and it was a Mrs. Potts costume. If you don't know what that is, Mrs. Potts is the big teapot from Beauty and the Beast. So she had put this out on her yard sale for $15. And I had recently seen this on the Money Making Mondays. One of our moderators and fellow seller and good friend Jen Cangelosi had just sold one like this. So I knew this was a thing. Plus, we were late in October, so getting near Halloween. So anyway, she had this for $15, and whoops. So I contacted her on Facebook, said I'll take it. I drove over there. It was only like a mile from my house, paid her the $15, and off I went. So then I put it on eBay, and here's the actual sale that it sold for $74.97. Now, I did this on auction because it was mid-October. This was an adult size costume, and I felt like auction would get me the best price. So I started it high. I only got one bid. So I basically sold it for $75. So the numbers on this worked out. Here they are. Let me enlarge this a little bit. I bought the item for $15, sold it for $74.97. The buyer on eBay paid shipping of $8.95. My cost for shipping was $5.40 because I got that eBay shipping discount, which if you are not shipping your items through the eBay workflow, you really need to. There's no reason not to. The eBay fees on this item were $7.56. The PayPal fees were $2.47, and my total profit was $53.60. The person who got it left positive feedback. They were happy, and this really took me about 20 minutes. To run over there, get this costume, take pictures of it, put it on eBay, and then ship it when it's sold. So this was quite memorable. And just a side note, I've got a video about top 5 Disney items to sell on eBay. They do very well, and costumes will sell all year long. So pay attention to that. So let's go back and pick up our next item here. And Pinterest is not really cooperating with me and taking me back to the right place. So let me get where I need to go here. Mrs. Potts, there we go. Okay, here is another thing. I was into selling these for a while. Nursing pillows. The brands that did well for me were Boppy, and this one is called My Breast Friend. And I got this at, let's see, $4 at a thrift store, and it sold for $32.97. So hopefully in this coming year, I am going to do some new courses, and baby items is on my list to do because there are so many things out there that if you don't have infants, you don't even know what these things are, and you might be walking right past these items in thrift stores. My kids are 21 and 23 now, so I am completely out of the whole what kids are into, what baby stuff is, toddler stuff. And so, as your kids age and you're not around that stuff anymore, you don't know what all the latest innovations are and all that kind of stuff. So that's a niche where I know I need to work on. Okay, here is something called Aaron Crafts sweaters. And these are sweaters made in, I think, Scotland or Ireland. I think it's Ireland. And these are very expensive. They're usually very chunky and heavy wool. This one was a fisherman's sweater, and I got this one for $5 at Goodwill, and it sold for $39.99. So sweaters are a good flip, easy to ship. This is one reason I like clothing, because there are just so many different things to choose from, and all kinds of stuff from all over the world can end up in your local thrift store. And a lot of times these kind of things end up going right back to the country where they were produced. So I sell things made in Peru that go right back to Peru, so that's kind of weird. But anyway, here is a brand of shoes I sell a lot called Merrill. Seasoned sellers will know this one. These were some brown flip-flops, and they have this really thick leather piece here that goes over the front of your foot. Not particularly gorgeous shoes, but practical and comfortable. And these were $2 at a thrift store, and they sold for $25. So this is your bread and butter of eBay. This is kind of my perfect item, something you can get for $2 and sell for $25, $3 and sell for $30. That's the ideal range for me, simply because my cost is very low and the profit is great. And it's repeatable. You just do it over and over and over again. Here's a brand a lot of you already know called Patagonia. This dress sold for $35. I paid $2 for it at Goodwill, and I will never forget when I found this dress. I was shopping with my friend Catherine Norwood, who lives near me out here in Atlanta, and the color tag was yellow. Anything yellow was 50% off, and we were kind of like having a contest to see who could find the most yellow tag stuff. So when I came across this dress, I mean, you would have thought I was on The Price is Right. I was like screaming and jumping up and down that I found one before her, and it was this whole very geeky reseller thing going on in the Goodwill. But we had a good time that day, and she'll never let me forget my behavior in the store when I found this item. So anyway, it's just a halter dress with a kind of floral Hawaiianish pattern on it. $2 at Goodwill, sold for $35, and this of course was used. So great profit on that one. Okay, let's see what else we've got coming up here. Here's just your basic pair of Crocs, Cayman purple, and these were $2 at a thrift store, sold for $24.97. I love selling Crocs. Some people think they're the most ridiculous shoes in the world, but they are good sellers. They are comfortable for people who want to wear them. If you've got foot problems, they're real spongy and squishy and comfortable to wear. And they're waterproof. Well, they're not really waterproof, but you can wear them out, run out and get the mail or whatever when it's raining, and that's good. So anyway, these fit nicely in a poly mailer or a Tyvek if they're too heavy, and they're very easy to ship. They're lightweight, easy to store, that kind of thing, and they're easy to clean. You can just throw them in the washing machine. So while some people are not huge fans of Crocs, I always look for them when they're cheap enough because they do sell, especially the bright colors and the ones that are professional for either medical or food service, that kind of thing. So just because they're weird and you don't like them doesn't mean you shouldn't sell them because they're easy money. Okay, now let's talk about loveys, and I need to make a video on this. I'm going to make a note about that right now. If you don't know what a lovey is, it's a little stuffed animal attached to a blanket, and these can be very profitable. Because a child will have their favorite one and they'll carry it around for years, and then something happens, it disintegrates, it falls apart, they lose it at Disney World, whatever, and the parents like in a panic to find another one just like it. So some of these have sold for over $100. So if you're not looking at these either in the plush section or the baby section or at garage sales, these can be quite lucrative. So this one here, I remember finding this 75 cents at Bargain City Thrift, which doesn't even exist anymore, and I loved that store. And it sold for $22. Easy to ship, easy to clean, just throw it in the washer. It was in very good condition. So, and hopefully it made some little child happy because either they got a new one or this replaced their old one. Okay, let's look at the next item here. 9 West leather ankle boots. These are a good staple item to sell. If you'll notice here, these have a square toe, and this may not be especially stylish. I know the pointy toes are much more in fashion, but again, for people with foot problems, if you have bunions or hammer toes, or you just don't like your feet all crammed into those little pointy toes, this is a good selling point on shoes if they have a square toe or an almond shape. And you want to put that in your listing because people are looking for this. I actually my feet, I just cannot do those pointy toed shoes. It just won't work for my feet. And it's not that I have wide feet, it just hurts my toes. And I don't even think it's good for your feet to shove them in those kind of shoes. But, to each his own. Point here is they may not be the highest fashion thing going on, but the square toe or almond shaped toe may be exactly what someone's looking for due to an anatomical issue with their foot. So these I got for $2 and I sold for $28 plus shipping. I actually during this time was going to a thrift store where they had $2 day every once a week. So a lot of these things in this section of my Pinterest board are going to have only cost me $2. So that's what's going on. This is an Eddie Bauer vintage ski sweater. I just thought this was beautiful with the black and white snowflakes, and it's got the thick turtleneck there. This is just perfect for somebody going on a ski vacation. This was $2 at that thrift store, and it sold for $30 plus shipping. So just remember, think globally, not locally. Just because it's warm where you are doesn't mean people won't buy sweaters. And the opposite, just because it's cold where you are doesn't mean people won't buy bathing suits and shorts. Think globally about your customer base, not locally. Get out of your own head. That's the hardest thing for a lot of people to learn when they start on eBay, that it's not about you, it's about your customers. So there is a buyer for everything, and they may be on the complete other side of the world, but there is a buyer for everything. Okay, this sweater I have found so many times. I think it was apartment 9 from Kohl's. I have found this in so many different colors. It's a 100% cashmere sweater, Argyle V-neck sweater. And Argyle sweaters do sell well. So I usually try to pick those up. In fact, I've got one right next to me that has a hole in it that I need to sew up so I can get that listed. This was $2 and sold for $22.97. So not a huge profit, but a good, bread and butter item that you can just find over and over again. And once you learn what these things look like and you have experience selling them, you will come across the same things over and over again and be like, yep, I know that's going to sell because I've already sold it once. Okay, here's one of my favorite brands to sell because it is so high dollar. It's called exclusively Missook, and I have a video about this brand. You can click at the top there and go watch that video. This was at, this must have been at Goodwill or maybe Value Village. It was $7 and it sold for $84.97. And the reason I paid $7 for it was because I knew it would sell for a high price. And so this sold full price, even though I had best offer on it. It sold for full price. So you may have exactly what somebody's looking for. Don't be afraid to price high, and don't be afraid to wait. So this is just a plain black jacket with a gold button accent on the front there and a large open collar. Missook is a brand that is meant for traveling. The wrinkles fall out as soon as you hang it up, and that's what the woman, her name is Missook, designed this for, because she traveled with for her job quite extensively, and so she ended up developing this line of clothing because she got so tired of having to iron her clothes in hotel rooms before her work the next day. So if you don't know that brand, you definitely want to learn that one. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. Oh, I remember finding this item. This was beautiful. This was a Pendleton reversible jacket barn coat, size 2X. This had a lot of things going for it. I love to find these items that just have multiple advantages, I call them, because Pendleton, great brand to sell, very high quality. It was reversible. One side was gray, one side was this blue plaid, and it was a size 2X. And I think I got this, yeah, I got this at Goodwill. It was $10, but I knew it would sell for a high price, so it sold for $75. So I'm okay to pay a little bit more for things if I know the profit is there, just because I like selling high quality items. And for me, it's just not all about how many things I can do and how cheap I can get my inventory. I'm looking for quality and a low investment and a higher selling price. So as you evolve in your business, you'll get there. It takes a lot of time, and you have to sell a lot of things to learn what you like to work with and what you want to do. In my video yesterday, I said I just don't want to sell pants anymore. I've been selling pants my entire time on eBay since 2003, and I just get a stomach ache thinking about it. I don't want to photograph them. I don't want to, I just don't like them. They're just not fun. So if you like selling pants, good news for you, because I'm not going to be buying anymore at the thrift stores around me. There's going to be more for you. Okay, so here we've got, oh, this was a fun one. Apple Macintosh 30th anniversary black t-shirt. So I found this at my $2 thrift store, and Apple products, like unique Apple products, sell good because I think this was made for employees only, because I couldn't find anything on it online. So was a black T-shirt with this Happy Birthday Mac on the front, with the number 30, and the zero of the 30 is the apple with the bite taken out of it. So, some apple collector loved this. And it was brand new condition. I remember I listed it and I just put $50 on it because I had no idea. And I got a best offer from someone in Canada. And, they really, really wanted it. They were a collector. So I'm like, sure, what the heck? I only paid $2 for it. It's going to make somebody happy. And easy enough, off it went. So, this is why I love this business, is you just can find so many cool things, and it's just what somebody wants, and it makes them happy, and you make money, and so there you go. Um, let's see what this one is. Oh, this was an interesting item. Vintage handmade crochet Afghan red, white, and blue throw blanket. And this item was $2 at my thrift store and sold for $40 plus shipping. And it was just kind of a red background with, let's see if we can zoom in here. It's kind of hard to see. There was it's just a patriotic pattern on it. And it was just unusual. And that's what I like, are things that are interesting and unusual. And here I displayed it. I just hung it over my headboard on my bed because it's kind of hard to get pictures of these big blankets and show all of it. So that's what I came up with. Plus the wall behind it in my bedroom was blue, so that kind of made an interesting picture. But I don't even remember where this went. But $2 and sold for 40. So that was easy enough. Okay, let's see what our next item is going to be. Okay, here we are, design options, and I have a video on this brand if you have not heard of it. It's kind of like Storybook Knits or Michael Simon, where it's the sweaters that are beaded and have a theme. This one was blue fish, ocean, aquarium kind of looking, with coral and fish and bubbles, and it was on a blue cardigan sweater. And I remember finding this at my $2 thrift store, and it sold for $50, just because it was unusual. And I'm thinking, I can see somebody down at the Georgia Aquarium wearing this, or a teacher maybe, or who knows. It was just very interesting and unusual. So if you are not familiar with design options, watch my video on that, because these things are high dollar, and I've found several of them. We'll probably come across some more as we go through this Pinterest board. Okay, I'm skipping over the men's stuff because I don't really do that anymore, and that's just not something I am really knowledgeable about. So I'm kind of sticking with the things that I am passionate about and I remember. This is a pink and purple, black owl scrub top, and I think this one's on my blog too, because there was an interesting story about this. So let me see if I can pull that up real quick, just to show you, because I remember I got so many low offers on this thing, and finally it sold for full price because somebody really wanted it. So I cannot find that. Should have bookmarked that before I started this, but anyway, no big deal. So the story on this was, I had it priced at $24.97, and somebody emailed me and said, you can get these online for $12. And she's like, this brand isn't even that great. And I said, okay, no problem. Thanks for letting me know. And, apparently she wanted me to give it to her really cheap. So a couple of days after that, it sold at full price, and the person was totally happy with it. So just because you can buy it online doesn't mean it's going to be in stock online in your size or in the colors you want. So when you get those snarky messages from eBay buyers, and we all get them, and we all just want to like wring their necks, but just ignore it and say, thanks for letting me know. the right person will come along. Not everybody wants to spend hours online trying to find something. And this has happened to me so many times where maybe I'll find something at Kohl's I really like, and they don't have another one in a different color. They don't have the color I want. So I go on Kohls.com, it's out of stock online. So then I go over to eBay and look for it because, I know exactly what I want. I know it fits me. I don't have to look any further and I can just find what I need. And it's usually less than full retail anyway. So just don't let those kinds of comments and low offers from buyers throw you because, it's just people being people. That's just what they do. And, it's just like water off a duck's back. Just keep going. Okay, so here we are with this Wacol Underwire Lace Bra. This is a size 36 triple D, and that's why I bought it to resell because it was kind of an odd size. Like triple D is, you don't see that a lot. So this was $1 and it sold for $20. Bras are great to sell. They're pretty easy to photograph and really easy to ship. And there's such a range of sizes with both the band size and the cup size that, again, sometimes it's hard to find your size. You may go on Kohls.com or Macy's or wherever even eBay, Amazon, wherever you order your clothing from, and they don't have your size. So this is like the great thing about clothing in general is you may have the only one that meets that buyer's preferences at that moment. So like I might have been the only person on eBay to have this exact style in the size and the color that this person wanted at that moment. It could change an hour from now. So this is why you have to price right and be willing to wait because your competition is constantly changing. And you may have the only red Ralph Lauren blazer in a size 8 petite that's exactly what that person wants, and yours is priced at $95 and it sells for that today. But tomorrow there might be three of those, and one of them is priced at 25. That's why it's so hard to price things based on completed listings, is because a lot of times the price has to do with what was available at that moment. And what someone is willing to pay may change based on what's available. They may have to have that thing for whatever reason. And if yours is the only one and it's priced high and they have the money, it may go. They may buy it. So just because one thing sold at a certain price and you see that on completed listings, look further, look at all of them as well as the active listings, because sometimes you can get information that will help your pricing decision by looking a little broader than just at the completeds. Okay, so this I sold for on consignment for somebody. This is a DC Stars Aquaman doll, 17 inches. And this is when I was helping the Humane Society thrift store. I was selling things on consignment for them. And a lady who was terminally ill, she knew she didn't have much time left. She had this huge doll collection of all kinds of these kinds of dolls, like superhero dolls and just all kinds of dolls. And she really wanted the thrift store to sell them so the money could go to the animals. So this was actually donated, and so I took an offer. No, it sold for full price of $159.97. So if you're not doing consignment, that may be something to look into, simply because it's a great way to learn about things to sell. You do need to be very selective on what you take on. I've got a playlist that I will link to at the top that you can learn more about that. But, consignment isn't all or nothing. You can say no to people. One thing I love selling on consignment is event tickets. It's because they're truly limited in number and prices can go up who knows how high. And they're very easy to ship and there's a limited time on them. So, the event's coming up, you sell the ticket, you're done. So those are great. All right, let's see what else we have here and then we'll wrap this one up. Here's another granny square blankets. These I kept finding at one point. Vintage granny square black handmade Afghan crochet throw blanket. I got this at for $2 at my favorite thrift store, and it sold for $64.97. So this was probably back in 2014, but these things still sell. You may have to wait a little bit longer, and of course, the bigger ones sell for more money, but handmade items are hot on eBay. So if you're overlooking those in the thrift store, another thing I've got coming up this year is a class on needlework and all the things you can sell in that niche and just explaining what everything is. So I've got a lot coming up for 2018. I'm really excited about it. All right, this is the last one for this video. These were at a thrift store. They're called Euronext hair extensions, 14 inches long. They were new in the box, and I paid $7 for these, and they sold for $65.97. So I sold some hair on eBay. I mean, you just never know. You might see these at estate sales, garage sales. These hair extensions are a big thing. You know, all these models you see on magazine covers and internet ads and, you know, on TV and movies, that's not their real hair. A lot of it is wigs and extensions. So don't let that fool you. You know, it's easy to do something that to enhance your looks these days. There's even fake hair. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up and keep it at around the 30-minute mark. Would love your comments on this, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Have a great day on eBay. Bye.